What's up, Summoners? King Blair here. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I feel like a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people I follow haven't mentioned before, and it's something that when I started the game, coming from Summoner's War and from a lot of different gacha games, it was something that I was like, why is this a thing? And that is going to be speed RNG. It's something that I have never experienced until now, and I've become more familiar with it and have had to play with it a lot more, especially for cleave offenses and cleave defenses, because it's something that you guys really should know, and it's one of the weaknesses that cleave offenses have, and something that you have to watch out for. So, what am I talking about? What is speed RNG? So if you go to a character, so this is my arena defense team, my Basar, right? He's usually gonna take first turn. He has a speed-based stat, everyone knows that, of 249. And that determines where you are in the combat readiness level, whether you're going to be going first or second. However, just because he has 249 doesn't mean he'll always get first turn if there's someone else within a certain range, and that's the speed RNG. To give you guys a better example, the same again with the cleave team. Let's say you have a Bellona and a BBK like I do. So your Bellona is the one that has to land the defense break before you do anything else, right? So you want her to go before your Bloodblade Karen. So my Bellona is at 194 speed, considerably slower than my Basar. Okay, she's 194. And if you look at my BBK, now she's at 181. If y'all saw my first Road to Legend video, or trying to get to Legend, my BBK was the same speed, but my Bellona was 187. And there would be a lot of scenarios and a lot of times where my BBK would go faster than my Bellona without using her passive, just because of the base speed. And I was really frustrated because it would be like key times, it would just be random. And I was like, why am I getting faster? Or why am I slower than this person? And I'm like, why? You know, like this shouldn't happen. Like Bellona should be going first every single time because the speed is higher. But as we'll find out, that is not how Epic 7 works. They decided to include speed RNG. So there's a really good website for a lot of like tips and tricks, and that's Epic 7X. Honestly, it's a really solid place that teaches you a lot, and it kind of goes into depth about speed RNG and how important it is for you to take into consideration. So it's a pretty long article. It talks about a combat readiness and a lot of different stuff and gives you recommendations. But the big one and the big thing that you have to watch out for is the range here. So I take the example too. If a character is 150 speed, another character between 145 to 155 can either go before or after you. That means plus or minus 5. They say 5%. I typically haven't seen that. I just think it's about 10. So it's like 10 speed. You should be, because you could be 5 slower and then someone could be 5 faster. So that's why you need 11 speed, so there's no chance that your timing will be off. So they mention it here in that paragraph where up below the update, where in order to avoid that your character always goes first, they need to be at least 10 plus speed than the next character. So what does that translate to? That means if we go back to the BBK example, my BBK is my cleave unit. I don't want her going first. I want her going after the defense break. That means my Bellona has to be 11 speed higher than my BBK, or BBK has a chance to cut it. Think about it. 11 speed. That's a lot. That's like 194 to 181. That's barely, like, it's crazy. And to me, it's still crazy that they put RNG in this aspect of the game, but it's something you need to look out for. And it's something that it doesn't just affect cleave teams. So now let's think back to my Basar, right? He's a pretty good Basar, you know? But there's also times where I get outsped and I'll fight the exact same person that has a Basar and my Basar will win. And I'm like, I will just sit there and be like, I literally just went before the same person and my Basar went faster and theirs went slower. That means they're within that 10 range, that 5%, that 5 range, where that character could have had 240 speed. And my Basar has 250, doesn't matter. He can outspeed me, he can cut in. And that's really rough for offense, because if you're trying to run a speed offense against another speed defense, speed RNG can lose you the fight. Because if you're fighting Basar versus Basar and theirs gets the first speed RNG, it doesn't matter if it's 1 in 10. That means 1 in 10 times you're going to be losing to Bazaars like that. And that's a big deal. That's something that you guys need to realize that's out there. Speed RNG is terrible. It's something I feel like it shouldn't be in the game. So tilting because you expect, oh, I'm at 250 speed, I should be getting first turn. But no, nah. That's the plus or minus like 5-10 speed if you actually want to be guaranteed that you won't get demolished or won't get cut. And that's something you guys need to realize. So just remember, if you pick anything up from this video, is if you run a cleave, make sure your setter upper is at least 11 speed higher. So make sure that your Bologna, your Tenebria, whoever you use for defense, your Tywin, is at least 11 speed faster. One thing that this can also make a problem, why my cleave defense sometimes loses, not often, but why it sometimes loses, is that 10 speed is a big deal. So you want to have someone that pushes CR so that they're capped at 100, so that you don't run into that scenario where like, oh, someone can cut in if they're slightly faster than you and are getting enough combat readiness, like with Hill at Lance or something like that, where they barely cut in, or like an Elena. So make sure that you have someone to push up. That's why I use Challenger Dami, and I try to keep them close enough that I won't get cut in like that. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. I don't want to keep dragging this on. Just know, y'all, Speed RNG, not a fun thing. Don't mess with it. Not a fun time. But just be aware. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. Peace.